The Letters of J. McAllister. Somewhere in the countryside, 1934. The house is quiet now. Too quiet. No sound of my son's boots on the wooden floor. No gentle hum of my wife tending to the fire. Just the wind rattling the old window panes and the ticking of the grandfather clock, marking the hours of a life lived mostly in solitude. I suppose that's why I write these letters. Not for any man, not for debate, just for myself, to steady my thoughts, to remind me why I never swayed, never stepped into the grand halls of the Catholic Church, despite the insistence of my dear neighbour, Thomas. Ah, Thomas. His heart was always so sure that the Church held the answers. He never missed a chance to remind me. He'd stand by my gate, hands in his pockets, rocking on his heels, and say, "Jay, don't you ever wonder if you're wrong? If the Church is where you ought to be?" And I would smile, shake my head, and reply, "No, Thomas, I don't wonder, for the Bible tells me plainly who God is. John 10:30. I and my Father are one." I used to tell Thomas that no council, no man, no grand institution could define God for me. The truth is already written. He would chuckle, shake his head, but I knew he listened. John 14:9-11. He who has seen me has seen the Father. Isaiah 9:6. And his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. I remember telling my son this once, when he came to me with uncertainty in his eyes, after that Catholic girl had turned his head, after he'd been sitting in their pews too long. "Son, if you know Christ, then you know God. You don't need any man to tell you otherwise. But love, love, it makes men doubt what they never doubted before." 1 Timothy 3:16. God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the Spirit, seen by angels, preached among the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up in glory. John 1:14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Thomas once told me that faith should be found in tradition, that it was the way of things. I laughed then. The way of things, Thomas. Is God a matter of custom now? Colossians 1:15. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. Hebrews 1:3. The brightness of his glory and the express image of his person. Philippians 2:6. Who, being in the form of God, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God. No. The truth of Christ is not bound in tradition. It is written, it is known, and it does not change. John 1:18. No one has seen God at any time, the only begotten Son. He has declared him. Ah, my son, how close he came to leaving the path. He loved that girl, and she loved him, but there was a divide between them, a divide neither could bridge. He asked me once, "Father, if I love her, can I not go where she goes?" I sighed, set my hand on his shoulder and said, "Son, love does not rewrite truth. You know what is written. You know where you belong." John 8:58. Before Abraham was, I am. Genesis 18:4. Please let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. Genesis 3:8. And they heard the sound of the Lord God, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. Colossians 1:16. For in him all things were created. All things have been created through him and for him. John 17:5. And now, O Father, glorify me together with yourself, with the glory which I had with you before the world was. Colossians 2:9. For in him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. It was only much later, when Thomas had all but given up on me, when my son had already begun slipping through my fingers, that I finally understood why they insisted. Thomas believed councils and men were necessary because they defend the faith against heresies. He feared that without the Catholic Church, the faith would splinter and men would lose sight of the truth. Without the Church, men could claim anything. They might even say Jesus was not God. And that was the very thing that had unsettled my son. He heard it whispered in lectures, debated in discussions, men questioning Christ's divinity, not outright, not boldly, but subtly. And so he had come to me, eyes troubled, hands restless, and asked, "Father, how do we know? How do we truly know Jesus is God?" I did not argue. I did not reason with men's logic. I simply opened my Bible, pointed to the words already written, and let the truth speak for itself. Revelation 1:8. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Revelation 22:13. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. That was all. That was enough.